A few weeks ago, I came out with my latest Descent guide where I explained why you should be playing Descent, why you should be, collecting all of those caches, blueprints, collectibles, blah, blah, right? Well, it seems as if this season we are not getting any sort of updates until the DLC. It looks as if they are giving this season time for all players to catch up on the Descent rewards, collectibles, and blueprints and get ready for this upcoming DLC. Now, the DLC, as far as we know, it is supposed to start at the end of this season. So we have just under 14 weeks until the DLC is set to launch, as far as we know, unless there's any sort of delays or what have you. Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you everything that I have found out about Descent, my thoughts, my theories, and much more. Here we go. What's going on, YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 video, so sit back, relax, grab that popcorn, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. But in today's Division 2 video, we're going to talk about Descent, how there are no updates for this game mode this season, except for a few named items, but that's it, until the DLC. So now is the time to catch up on this game mode. So let's go ahead and look at it. Now, typically, what I would do every week is I would go over to these weekly projects and I would do the weekly Descent. Because every time you take out the Nemesis, you get a new collectible. And this is how I've been updating people on the current, lore or the current backstory that's happening in the Division 2 as they start to ramp up towards the Brooklyn DLC. Now, what I've noticed is that this season, there have been no updates to the collectibles. So there's no more story build-up to the DLC. And in fact, you can see right here under the rewards, there are, 7 collectibles you can get this week? They're making it to where everyone can catch up on the collectibles because it used to be just one collectible every week to build up that story and to keep building up the narrative and, up to the DLC. But there are no new collectibles. So let me show you. If you go under your progression tab and go to collectibles, go under comms, you can see that I am fully maxed out on Descent, 90 of 90. Now this ended week 1 because we were at 89 out of 90 at the end of last season. And then as soon as week 1 hit here, we were able to get that 90th, and that was it. So we have all the story, all the background, all the lore building up to the DLC, excluding the latest Manhunt comms. Now, after the first 2 weeks of the Scout, the Manhunt comms are not really building up much. It's just talking more about Faye and Viper, nothing really building up to the DLC yet. So it's looking as if no more collectibles or anything to build up to this DLC. We're just waiting for this DLC to launch. Now the next thing, why would you even play Descent? Why even catch up? What's the purpose of it? Is it worth it? And the answer is yes. So if I go over to my crafting bench, and I'll show you exactly why. Because 90% of my builds that I show you, I can craft just from the blueprints. So you can see here under mask, look at this. We have the Hollow Man blueprint, the Visionario blueprint, the Punch Drunk, the Night Watcher. Under the backpacks, we have the Anarchist Cookbook, the new Axel blueprint, Battery Pack, Devil's Due, Force Multiplier, Hermano, Lavoisier, the Liquid Engineer, the Matador blueprint, Percussive Maintenance, Strategic Alignment, the Courier, the Gift, the Setup, Vigil, all of these blueprints. Check it out. Contractor's Gloves, Death Grips, Eagle's Grasp, Firm Handshake, Motherly Love. And the list goes on, going to the chess pieces, Cherished, Henri, what is that? Bobber? The Caesar's Guard, Chain Killer, Closer, Door Kicker's Knock, Everyday Carrier, Ferocious Calm, Hunter Killer, Point Man, Pristine Example, The Sacrifice, Zero Fs. Under holsters, we have the Claws Out, the Picaros, the Forge. We have the Grease, the Emperor's Guard, the Fox's Prayer. All of these blueprints. And then you can see, I mean, I have all of the weapon blueprints. And this is for all of the named items, excluding the ones that you get from your specializations, you know, things like that. But all of that is possible because of Descent. Not a lot of people advertise that because a lot of people just want you to farm for your builds, you know, waste your time, you know, trying to get it through that targeted loot. When in reality, if you play Descent, you can come over here to the NSA station and you can buy the reconstructed cache. Now this season, I was able to get the Grease and the Axle blueprint from these caches. But that's it. Nothing else is being added, it looks like, until the DLC. Now another thing is every time you buy one of these reconstructed caches, not only are you getting one of those blueprints that I just showed you, but it also gives you a random named item. So you can double dip. You can get, you know, probably the Matador to drop and a Matador blueprint. You could probably get the Picaros to drop and get the Claws Out blueprint. There's so many different, you know, combinations you can get, but it is well worth it. I promise you. That way you can just craft your builds to whichever way you want. You can tweak them. You can put certain ones in certain spots. It makes life so much easier once you have all of the blueprints. So that's why in today's video, I stress, not only can you catch up on the collectibles by taking out the Nemesis, but if you actually grind Descent, even for a few days, you will get enough of those tokens to buy these reconstructed caches. And then that way, maybe, you can get lucky and get one of those named item blueprints that you've been waiting for. And then you can just keep crafting all the different variants that you want and make all the different builds you want. Now, another thing. Descent is the only place to get this exotic rifle. It's called the Vindicator. It's the only place in the game. You cannot get this to drop. You have to buy it. And I think it's like every week or every 2 weeks, the bottom attribute on this exotic changes. So right now it's magazine size. You could come back later and it could be damage to targets at a cover. But either way, this is the only way to get this exotic rifle as well. But let me know if you want me to do the 90 Descent comms in one video and just explain the entire lore and all the different storylines. I mean, that's where we learned that we had Hunter bunkers. That's where we learned that not only was Calvin McManus in charge of the entire Descent and NSA operation, but he was also in charge of Isaac. He was also in charge of this Shade network. He was also in charge of the Hunters. There's so many different things we have learned just through these Descent comms. And right now it seems as if the devs want you to play Descent and catch up on all of these comms and collectibles right before the DLC is set to launch. But that's it for me. Really quick video. I just wanted to explain that it's looking like there's not going to be any more updates to the storyline or the lore as far as the Descent game mode goes until the DLC comes out. So now is the time to grind it out, not only to get all of those collectibles you've been missing, but also the blueprints. And I didn't even talk about the patches. As soon as I was saying that, I was like, yo, you didn't even talk about the patches. So every season we get different patches. Now you can only unlock these patches when you reach a tier. So you have to reach a certain tier to unlock the patches. For example, for this one, under Broken Wings, I had to not only take out the Nemesis, but then I had to surpass Loop 10. So you don't even reach Tier 4 until you're at Loop 11. So once you hit Loop 11, you will not only get a Nemesis patch, but you'll also get a Tier 4 patch. And that's for every season. You have to. So right here, here's the first rogue one whenever I went past loop 10. And then that keeps, let's see, here's another one right here, Puppeteers. So there's the Nemesis, there's the tier 4 for loop 10, and so on and so forth. So you're not going to get the patch just for defeating the Nemesis for some reason. You have to actually reach one of these reward tiers in order to unlock the patches. So again, either get up to loop 11, 21, 31, 41, what have you, to get those different reward tiers. But all right, I think I have covered it all. Descent is not getting an update, it seems, until the DLC. There are 2 named items, or named item blueprints added to the reconstructed cache. The named Grease knee pads and the named Axle backpack. Both of those named item blueprints were added to the reconstructed cache. So pick those up and catch up on those collectibles. I am Kamikazevondoom. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will be on Twitch getting everyone those exclusive drops. Remember, that's live right now. So check me out on Twitch. Just search up Kamikazevondoom. But that's it. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.